everybody, and welcome to the Irish Wrestling Podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by the first Dubai wrestler to ever perform globally. He is the essence of Dubai. He is Shaheen. Shaheen, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Thank you for the amazing introduction. It's an honor to be here.
Good to have you on. And I know you reached out to myself recently. We set this up and was very intrigued and had a look in your background and your history in wrestling. And I was very interested to see just how you got into wrestling. You're a fan as a child, and how you progressed to actually getting to perform as a wrestler and building on from.
So I grew up watching and admiring a lot of the early noughties, like Hardy Boys, Eddie Guerrero, the Team Extreme. Been a huge fan of what they've been doing in the ring. So I've always admired them in a sense that I see these people as larger than life athletes. I didn't just see them as wrestlers, I saw them as rock stars. And a part of me always wanted to be or live that life, especially growing up watching things like Power Rangers or Tarzan or Spider-Man. I just love that element, So I came across Finn Balor back in 2017, 18. We crossed paths over here in the country. They were doing a live show not too far away from where I live. And I was lucky enough to have met Finn and talked to him about my dreams and my aspirations of wanting to become a wrestler. But I did tell him that I had doubts and concerns and whatever shadows of doubts that I had back then. And had you told me back then that I would be saying these things, I'd be telling you you're out of your mind.
Was there a scene in Dubai then? Was there
It was virtually non-existent. It was just an academy. They would have small academy shows with like friends and family, nothing documented, nothing out there, not ticketed. We actually just started the first actual promotion with our own two hands. It's very DIY, very punk scene back March of 2022. So we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary next year.
WrestleFest.
Super proud of everyone. WrestleFest DXB. Super proud of everyone involved. Super proud of everyone who contributed to the scene. And it's really it's in its infancy phase, and to see it grow to where it is today, and just get our first championship introduced, get acknowledged by the local sports governing body, and get
that they have it voiced as a recognized sport now in Dubai.
Yes.
All right, that's something that a lot of, like in the UK and Ireland specifically, like the government bodies don't recognize it as entertainment, and they don't recognize it as sport. Like during the pandemic, there was no funding for wrestling promotions.
I see.
Probably globally, really, like that. The government wouldn't step in and help them out. They didn't recognize it as either sport.
As a sport. Yes, I feel like that was a blessing in its own. When we started back in March, only 2 shows in, we caught the attention of the Sports Council, who finally recognized wrestling as a sport because of the incredible turnout, because of the amazing support to the fans, and it's just it's grown exponentially, and I'm super happy for everyone involved.
So have you got both hats on? You're a wrestler and a promoter, or is there a big difference between promoting yourself and promoting wrestling to a community that may have not been getting to see live shows
I mean, I've always wanted to provide the sport as a spectacle to young children and to up and coming wrestling fans, because I was in that position at some point, and I really wanted to bring in more eyes to the sport. And if promoting was a duty that I have to take, or if it was a hat that I had to wear to provide that service to people who were in my shoes, then I would gladly do it. And in my travels, I would gladly put WrestleFest DXB over, and that would obviously mean that people need to step it up, and that also means that I have a third hat to wear, which is training people. So I want everyone to come to Dubai. I want everyone to
do you have a school there as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So I want everyone to come and see what we've got. I want everyone to start taking the sport seriously. I know the scene started popping up in the UK and the US a very long time
Yeah,
ago, and just recently in Asia and the Middle East. And let me just say that we have what it takes. So when it comes to the promoting aspect of it, I'm really happy to put everyone over and to you know to just focus on everyone's strengths and put them out there and let the fans relate
yeah.
to what we do as wrestlers.
True. And how I know you did with Progress, the sons and daughters of the desert in
Oh yeah, that
December.
was
How did
back.
that partnership come together? How did you end up working with Progress?
Uh, it started with so I just attended a show back in July, and prior to that, I had two matches with Dan Maloney,
Oh yeah, yeah,
uh, one half of the Progress champions back then, and that those two matches have caught their attention. So
yeah,
when they saw me in the show, they recognized me and asked if I was the wrestler from Dubai, and we started talking and just asking what ifs. What if we had a collaborative show? What if
yeah,
Progress comes over to Dubai? What if it's not just Dan Maloney this time? What if it's an entire roster?
yeah.
And then next thing you know, 5 months later, we finally did it.
Yeah, there was a lot of people over there. Like we have worked with Progress. I've spoken to Martin and Lee McAteer. We've had them on the show before, and
Oh,
we went
really?
over to Cardiff during the Clash of the Castle weekend in September.
Okay, okay.
That was our first time going to see a Progress show. So it wasn't long after that they announced that they were going to Dubai. So I know you got some big names there. You got Big Demo, obviously, Dan Maloney, and one of our own Session Moth was over there as well.
Yes, yes. She was hosting the show.
Yeah, yeah. So it
Yeah.
was a big deal. People were taking notice, like people who may have never heard of WrestleFest before started, who is WrestleFest and how did this come about. So it's good to actually now, see the background of where it came from and how things come together, like and maybe plans for the future. Are you planning on working with Progress again, or maybe bringing?
For sure. Always open to work with Progress. It was a pleasant experience. They have been nothing but supportive
Mm,
of the scene. They've been nothing but supportive of what we've been doing.
yeah,
And I would like to extend an open hand to any other promotion that would also like to work with WrestleFest DXB, that would like to probably like sponsor one of their talent to fly over, to fly, to put in their banner up, to do this some like it's a two-way street. We
yeah,
want to promote them as much as they could promote us. So
absolutely.
that's what I like about the independent scene. It's not just me, it's not just us. I don't like the idea of territorialism.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the idea of supporting one another and putting each other over.
Absolutely, it should be like that. A lot of promotions are like that. Independent, they're all they're all coming from the same area. Like they're all looking to
Mhm.
build the brand
The
and
grind is different when you're an independent,
yeah,
not just wrestling. I'm talking artist,
yeah,
musician. It is when you don't have that kind of support, that kind of cash, that kind of eyes on you. It's always key to start collaborating, to start working with one another. The grind's different,
yeah,
it's not easy. Everyone I click with anyone who has that DIY value of, just try to put yourself out there, try to do it yourself, try to um put in the work. It's because at the end of the day, it's not easy.
yeah. But it was working. Like I know you had it recently. You're over in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur for a wrestling promotion. Was that your first time there? Or was that the first time there was a wrestling promotion in Kuala Lumpur?
Okay, so it's the first show they've had in 3 years because of
Okay,
COVID. And that was my first Southeast Asian debut.
okay,
Hopefully not the last. I'm happy to say that I'll be back to Malaysia, if not back to the neighboring countries too. I think I made quite the impression over there. So hopefully more countries will be added to the list, and
yeah,
hopefully we'll be working with more promotions out in the Southeast, because that's where the future is at.
yeah,
Um, you can see promotions popping up in Australia, and they're working one another with the ones in Singapore and
yeah,
in Malaysia. And as Dubai being the connection between Southeast Asia, Australia, and
hmm,
Europe, and the States, we're basically in the middle. So we would like to be that bridge,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
always open to being a bridge to connect people with one another.
Cool. And you're due. I know you're due to fly in. You're coming into Scotland next week.
Yes, packing a bag full of thermals for that.
It's not summertime over there yet. I'm sure summertime might
No, no,
be for a
no.
few
And
weeks.
then after that, I have Canada, which
Yes,
is 15 degrees, which let's see.
Montreal. Yeah, Montreal's pretty
That's
cold.
gonna be quite the challenge.
Last week, just last week, no, you had a tag team match against the Haroon Twins, the YouTubers.
Yes,
Do a lot of
yes.
wrestling moves in the beach and then the soft play areas. How did
Uh-huh.
that happen?
So they're very they're good friends of mine. We
Okay.
actually started contacting one another when we first shot their first video here in
Yeah.
Dubai, when they did the ones in the trampoline park and the
Yeah.
ones at the beach. And back then it was just like what if we have a match with one another? What if we do this? You know, it was just lingering in our heads. So with the birth of WrestleFest DXB last year, they took notice. They started noticing. They started seeing that, oh, now there's a scene. It's not just an academy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not just friends and family. It's actually a ticketed event with people coming in with 200 fans and sponsors and supporters, and it's getting big.
Yeah.
So I shot them a message saying, "When's your next visit to Dubai? Because we need to get you guys on the card. So let's
They've
get
never
ready for
wrestled
this."
before, had they? They just done
They've never wrestled
videos.
before. This is their first actual
Yeah.
match. This is their debut match. We're talking about YouTubers with 3-4 million followers that get up to 40 million views on
Yeah.
the socials. So to have them come over, and my friend Jay Lamrod and I, we trained them. We got the basics down and did the fundamentals with them, and it was quite the match. I'm so proud of them for just nailing it in their
Yeah.
first match in front of a live crowd. They've done videos before where they've backyarded and stuff, but
Mhm.
this time it's in a ring. It's in front of fans, and it's a different feel.
You have to take
So for
proper.
them to ace, yeah, yeah, and for them to ace that,
Yeah.
it's just it makes me proud of them,
And
honestly speaking.
was it for tag team titles or was it the start of a tournament?
Yeah, yeah, it was for the inaugural Dubai
Oh, brilliant.
World Tag Team Championships. Yeah.
Excellent. I won't spoil it. I won't tell everybody who won it. Like, but go back and is that available now? Do you have a YouTube channel?
It's gonna be up on YouTube sometime this weekend. I
Okay.
posted highlight videos on
Yeah, I
my
saw the highlight.
Instagram.
It looks pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that something you were planning to do now for WrestleFest? Will you be having, a stream, not a streaming service, but an option, all your shows
Yes,
on
especially
YouTube?
with an international audience now, it's always good to give the option of live streaming through
Yeah.
Twitch. We just don't want our fans to be lazy and stay at home and watch it on Twitch. So we would just offer the service perhaps to like international audiences.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it looks like it's going to be a good promotion. Like, as long as, you're, like you said, you're basically a year old now in March of this year.
And
So
gaining
you are
traction
still
like
starting.
crazy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how fast the year would have went for you when started off, maybe February,
Mm-hmm.
this time last year in February, you were like, maybe nervous to start a promotion. And now look at you, so you just have, nearly a whole year under your belt.
Let
And
me tell you something funny. Last year in February, I had the chance to do an overseas show, but the promoter hadn't actually booked a flight nor a hotel for me. And I remember sitting down with my friends and asking them, "This is the only money I have. It's I have the X amount. It's either I book a flight and a hotel to be featured on this card,
yeah,
or use that same money to book a venue." And luckily, the guy that owns the venue is a friend of mine now.
okay,
He's a super wrestling fan, and he man he's just super 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 supportive of the scene, and he doesn't charge us what he charges
awesome.
other people for the
Yeah,
venue. So it's a very big community. It's a big community.
yeah,
There's the venue owner who doesn't charge us much. You have the videographer, the photographer. It's a really tight knit, close community of wrestling fans. And so from there on, I was at a crossroads. It's either I do this, travel internationally and book my own flights and hotel, or save that money and book the venue and finally start this dream promotion of mine, WrestleFest DXB. I, you can imagine how tough it was to be. I either become an international wrestler,
yeah.
or start or bring the soil
Mm-hmm.
to buy and start watering my plant here
Yeah. And
instead of.
do you think now since it started, like has the scene, maybe the first show might have gotten as many people? Are people starting to take notice locally? Are they coming to the
I
show?
don't regret it one bit.
Yeah.
In other places or other events, and let's not just narrow it down to wrestling. With other events, usually the first shows are, they're not, let me say, they're not a big success
Yeah.
or whatnot. But with us, we expected a certain number of fans, and double those fans
Oh, brilliant.
showed up on the day, which made us say, hey, there's a scene,
Yeah.
and it exists over here in Dubai, so let's make it happen. Let's make it a monthly thing. Fun fact, WrestleFest DXB was supposed to be a one-off event. Just to celebrate, the art and
Yeah. Yeah.
the art of professional wrestling, just to get more eyes and see and test the waters. And then from there on, we've had a show every month, and it's been
Great.
growing and growing since.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And I know you have mentioned the anniversary show coming up on the 18th of March, and you're set to face one half of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions,
Yes.
Francisco Akira. How did that come about? Are you in contact with New Japan, or have you been in contact with, maybe through Dan Maloney or through maybe even Will Ospreay? You've been reaching out to him recently.
That's the beauty of Instagram. Francesco and I follow each other, and he came across one of the videos of WrestleFest that I posted on my story, and he asked, "How do I get on one of these?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought to myself, if Francesco wants to do this, I also want to do this as badly as him. So let's make it happen. And then I reached out to the sponsors, and luckily everything, went as planned, and it was set in stone for the anniversary event.
That's a big get to get, somebody who has,
It is, and hopefully it's a stepping stone for bigger matches, maybe like the superstar that you just mentioned.
We never know. He's open to wrestling. He seems to be wanting to travel the world now and go to every promotion he can just to get as much, in ring time as he can before.
For sure.
I'm not sure if he's going to settle down and sign a big contract with anybody else. Well, it'd be nice to get him while he's a free agent, or
For sure. We do have our eyes set with not just Will, but like up and coming up and coming indie stars like Leighton Buzzard. He's really doing good for himself.
Yeah, yeah.
LG Cleary from Ireland.
You're aware.
amazing.
Yeah, you seem to have a lot of Irish followers. I've looking, LJ and people.
LJ is fantastic. I really love his in-ring work, and it would be really nice to have him over here one day.
I'm sure it's something I'm sure something he wouldn't mind doing. He's one of the most well-traveled wrestlers in Ireland, and such a young age, he's done a lot. So I'm sure it's something he may look into in the future if you want to reach out to him.
For sure.
What's the plans after that? Is it still going to be a monthly thing, or are you obviously in the venue that you are in? You are planning on traveling around with it, or is it going to stay in that one venue?
I would like it to be that one venue that wrestling fans come to 10 years down the line and say, "This is where WrestleFest started. This is where we used to come."
Yeah.
Every month, and the plan is to outgrow the venue. But as of now, we would like to keep that our home. They've been nothing but supportive. Everything's there. It's a purpose-built venue. They have all the services that we need.
Yeah.
So the only thing that would push us out of that venue would be, more heads. If we can't accommodate to the number of people, then obviously you never know. We would maybe do arenas, or there's a very popular place here called the Coca-Cola Arena, which houses 5,000 to 20,000 heads. Maybe that's the growth plan for the next 5 years.
Well, you always have a goal. You need to have a goal, set your mind to it, and try and get it. But as long as you keep working with companies like Progress and reach yourself, you're promoting yourself as well, traveling around the world. Show off what Dubai has to offer. People are going to start taking notice. So.
For sure.
It's been a pleasure, Shaheen. It's great to have you on. I'm
going
to have you back on again and see where you are in the next few months.
For sure, would be my absolute pleasure.
Keep an eye on the promotion. I'll be sure to check it out. Where can people find your
it's at WrestleFest DXB on Instagram and on Twitter and on YouTube. And if
Okay,
you
I'll
wanna,
leave the links in the description. People can
for
subscribe
sure.
to your
And
channel.
if people want to keep tabs on my journey too, it's at Shaheen of the Sky on Instagram. Would be great to grow that following too.
Absolutely, been a pleasure. As you said, guys, like, comment, subscribe on Shaheen's, on WrestleFest, on ourselves here. Leave any comments if there's anything you want to know. Leave them below, and we'll get back to you. But for now, been a pleasure, Shaheen. Have a good day and enjoy Scotland. Enjoy the cold weather in Montreal.
I don't think I would, but thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.